Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. People, when are we going to start taking Jake Paul serious? Or I call him Jizzle P. At some point, we got to start taking Jizzle P serious when it comes to boxing. The verdict's still out on him as a boxer because he hasn't fought a boxer. If he fights Tommy Fury, we'll give him some credit. Doesn't mean we're going to say that he's great, especially when out of 1,020 active boxers, he's ranked 676, and he's ranked after a guy who's 0 wins and 18 losses. So, and that's a direct result of him fighting non-boxers. He fought a YouTuber, a basketball player, and 2 MMA fighters. So 5 wins and 4 knockouts, right? So it is what it is when it comes to Jizzle P. But aside from his boxing, okay, I honestly think he's gonna get in there with some legit boxing competition because he's returning to fight in August. But Jizzle P, as a promoter, we gotta really stop and take a look at this guy, because Jizzle P, he signed Amanda Serrano, and she's getting the biggest payday of her career, and so is Katie Taylor. And Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, they share a complementary relationship, so both of them owe each other a great deal for the paydays that they're getting right now. They also owe Jake Paul more than Eddie Hearn for the position they're in as far as the salaries. Not for their accomplishments. I'm talking about the payday. Because Jizzle P, he really is a little crazy. But Jizzle P isn't about putting money in his pocket. Jizzle P has some good in him. Yeah, he knows he's a little bit controversial, borderline crazy, but he's a marketing genius. And what I'm starting to see about Jizzle P is it's not all about him. This guy has real money, you know what I mean? He doesn't need to do anything for anyone. He could have came into boxing, kept making because the man made over $25 million for those 5 fights, in case you didn't know. So he's out here hitting, they say he just averaged about $5 million a fight, okay? I think he got, first couple of fights weren't that much, but since he got with Showtime, definitely the purses increased, especially with the pay-per-view numbers that he's doing. So Jizzle P is making real money. But we got to start taking him serious, because you look at what he's doing with Serrano and the payday. Her next fight, she should get even more money, because Jizzle P is not trying to rob her. He's not looking to just line his pockets. Yeah, it's a business. The business model is structured for them to be around, longevity, and to make money. But most importantly, take care of his fighters. So a lot of that, the old-fashioned way of thinking, that's going to be affected by guys like Jake Paul, who have money, who don't mind losing money, and who genuinely in his heart wants to help fighters. So Jake Paul goes on to sign a hot prospect, Ashton Sylve, and May 21st he's going to be fighting in Long Beach. A lot of people don't know who he is, but he's a next boxing superstar, man. The man turned pro, I think at 16 or 17 years old. He's like 7-0 with 7 knockouts. But he's about to fight in his hometown of Long Beach, California. He's out there training in Puerto Rico with Jake Paul. And listen, this young man that Jake Paul just signed, this young man is smart. These young guys coming up now, it's a different generation. I'm 46, right? But these young guys who are coming up, they came up on Jake Paul. They look at Jake Paul. They know the money he's making. They watch him come start this boxing thing. People seeing it as a circus, a sideshow. Then they see him going and getting better, winning fights. And these young up-and-coming boxers seeing the money he's making, and by them attaching themselves to Jake Paul, within, I'd say 2 years, this kid will probably be worth $5 million. Because of his association with Jake Paul. And that's an extremely smart move by this young man and his team to be associated with Jake Paul, with what Jake Paul's doing. And especially right now with the Jake Paul, the most valuable promotion movement, and really trying to improve the overall lifestyles and fight purses for combatants. Now, what Jake Paul is also trying to do, his ultimate goal, especially if Amanda Serrano wins, which I think it's not an easy fight. I'm just gonna be honest, but I think she has the power to stop Taylor if she doesn't get overwhelmed, because Taylor's work rate is crazy. But one day I feel like Taylor's gonna win, one day I feel like Serrano's gonna win, but I'm picking Serrano. I like the power puncher, so I'm gonna always side with the power puncher, unless like back in the day they're going against Floyd Mayweather. Like I'm going with Mayweather every time. But what Jake Paul's ultimate goal is with Serrano and any of his fighters, but in particular Serrano, if she beats Taylor, is to get her an 8-figure purse. And Jake Paul has the right platform. His platform may be bigger than everybody in boxing. You got Pacquiao, Mayweather, they're retired, but they have huge platforms. But Jake Paul's platform is crazy. If he can just he has over 18 million people who follow him. If he can just get 1 million of them to buy pay-per-view every time, if he can just let's say he gets 3 million of them to buy pay-per-view, this man just broke records. This is for his fighters. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, because he could probably get all 18 million plus to watch the fight, but how many of these people are going to buy? How many illegal streams is that going to be? Because, you look at what happened with Earl Spence and Ugas. The amount of illegal streams was ridiculous. And so their pay-per-view numbers were like 250,000, but the pay-per-view streams were like I can't remember the number, but I think it was like 7 million or 70 million illegal streams, something ridiculous. But when it comes to Jizzle P, he just has the right platform, and he really is trying to help boxers. So that being said, I think we need to start taking him serious, because, as a boxer, he's progressing just like any other boxer. He's going to fight a few tomato cans, and he's learning on the job. You can't just come throw him to the wolves. But Jizzle P is about right where he should be. It's time to take a little bit of a step up now. We should start seeing him in there with boxers. Tommy Fury is a good step up. I think Tommy Fury gives him a little bit of an issue, but ultimately Tommy Fury gets excited, starts feeling himself, and Jake Paul knocks him out. I honestly think Jake Paul knocks him out. But I think he's going to be a little bit tough, because Tommy Fury has long arms, super long arms, and his dad started off training Tyson Fury. So, and Tommy Fury looked a lot better in his last fight. He can box. He's getting better. He's learning on the job just like Jake. That's why it's like they're evenly matched up. But I think Jake Paul is willing to I think he's one of those guys you have to kill. He's just one of those crazy guys. Got to kill him, because he's going to keep coming and coming so the referee stops the fight. But I'm going to go ahead and start, because I believe in building champions, not breaking them down. But I'm going to start showing more support to Jizzle P, because he really has good intentions. And don't be surprised if you get some of these well-known boxers, some of these top pound-for-pound boxers who really don't have a good promotional deal in place right now, who just kind of in the breeze. Don't be surprised if they float over there to Jizzle P and sign with Most Valuable Promotions, because Jizzle P has a good team behind him. He has the right platform. And somehow some of these well-known boxers who may not be in the ideal situation promotion-wise, they go get with Jizzle P. Then they have the platform. They have the name. They'll gain a certain amount of followers, and then their fight purses now, I would say, quadruple, just as a result of being attached to him. And even if it's something that's short-lived, it's okay. If you get into something, you do it for 3-4 years, and you make decent profits, and then you sell off the business and go on. That wasn't a fail. That was a win. So if someone signs with MVP Promotions, uses him to get what they want, Jizzle P, he benefits as well. But then you go on after 3-4 years and you just make $20 million. Much more than what you would have made at the nickel and diamond for $1 million, $2 million here and there. They may make $30-40 million with this guy. I'm talking about like a top name in boxing. They could make even more. Jizzle P has the right team, the right connections, the right sponsors. He's just the perfect person to attach yourself to at this moment because of the direction he's going. Now, he's got to keep winning. He's hot now because he's winning. He's knocking out bums. But if Jizzle P goes out there and loses the fight, all the momentum he has going on it goes out the window. But he's got to be smart with his matchmaking. And he's got to go in there and win. He's got to go in there and DJ Khaled. He's got to just keep doing that. But if not, I can see it being some issues. But I would get attached to him right now and try to get a fight in on his card and snatch him a quick $5-7 million because Jizzle P is going to make sure he pays him handsomely because he's got money coming out of his yin yang. You know what I mean? This guy has multiple passive income streams where he's making millions upon millions. Well, he doesn't care about $3, $4, $5 million to try to help out a boxer because he's going to be all right. Things can't possibly go bad for this man financially. And I'm not saying use him, but no one's going to love you like you love yourself. So attach yourself to him and get your money. So people, Jizzle P, he's signing fighters. And let's just see what direction he takes it. I think Jizzle P is a breath of fresh air, man. He's starting to really show the layers to him and show this plan that he's had for himself. And he's really trying to do it. And when you listen to him speak and as a promoter, he's got it. He's got it, man. He's definitely seasoned in marketing, and he's definitely polished himself up quite a bit to make sure when he gets in front of that camera that he's not just being too reckless with his words, but he still gets his little shots in there to make sure he keeps his name in the media and a little bit of back and forth banter between he and Eddie Hearn about fighting one of Eddie Hearn's fighters, anyone who has less than 10 fights. So Jizzle P is doing the right thing, but I think more fighters should really pay attention to him. Even if it's something short-term, a 2-fight deal or something, I think they should. If they want to wait till after his fight in August, see how that goes, then immediately sign with him, try to get 1 or 2 fights before he goes again. That way his profile's still high, he's still hot, he's undefeated, and then get your money and get out. But it's got to be strategic. But long-term contracts with him, I don't know. What's going to happen once he loses? I think he still keeps his followers. If he goes out in dramatic fashion, but he goes out fighting, letting his hands go, people are going to respect him for that. And that may take him to a whole nother level. So I just think right now it could be a win-win signing with Jizzle P and Most Valuable Promotions. But more to come on Jake Paul. I just think we need to start taking this man serious. He's sitting up there with Eddie Hearn. It's he and Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has been doing this for years. Grew up with his dad, watching his dad do it, took over the business. Eddie Hearn, Fast Eddie, he's a mouthpiece. Eddie Hearn's a talker. Jizzle P is hanging in there with him. Wit for wit, word for word. Eddie Hearn still edges him out, but he's holding his ground. And there are a lot of people who can't do that because it takes a certain kind of confidence to be there in a room with someone like Eddie Hearn, who's been doing this forever, and to be able to intelligently articulate your point, your perspective, and provide the who, what, when, where, why, and how on your fighter and why you feel they're going to win. And that's just not something that anybody can a role anyone can step into and execute. And those are just facts, right? So let's keep watching Jizzle P and give him some respect. But I think more fighters should really take a look at what he's doing and try to get on board, strike while the iron's hot, and then exit with their 15 to 20 million, because I think there's gonna be a lot of money to be made being signed to Jake Paul because of the attention that he garners and because of his platform. Promoters use boxers. Bob Arum not throwing no damn punches, never throwing no damn punches, but they use these boxers to get paid. They put money in money in the boxer's pocket, but ultimately these boxers are the ones that put money. Without the boxer, nobody gets paid. And I don't care what they say. Without the boxer, no one gets paid. So, hey man, no one's gonna love you like you love yourself. Do your thing. Hook up with Jake Paul. Let's see what happens. So, leave your comments below. Let me know your opinion. I like what's going on with Jake Paul. And when he's signing this young talent's not gonna care if he loses. It's old heads like me, who I'm not saying me as hating on the guy, but it's old heads like me who are watching him and saying he's not doing it the traditional way. He just comes in because of his platform. He hasn't earned it, blah, blah, blah. You know what, man? You're supposed to find a way to win. Make things easier. Work easy. Work smart. And he's doing it. And he should use his platform to go become a gazillionaire. Anybody who has that kind of platform, that kind of profile, that many people interested in you, I'd be involved in everything. While I'm hot, I'd be involved in everything. And just making money, hand over fist. And when it fizzles out, man, you seize your opportunity because it's not always going to be there. Not for everybody. So for him, it's a moment in time. And this man is riding the wave. And I think anybody who's a boxer with a good profile or a lot of promise, they need to jump on and buckle their seatbelts and take the ride with Jizzle P, because I think it's going to lead him to a big pot of gold. And all I'm asking is, can I get $5? You know what I mean? Anyway, appreciate your support. Like and subscribe to the video. Shout out to all the veterans. And I'm in the breeze.